Every night they check their phone for you. God revealed the emotional truth. Beloved one, listen closely. For there is something the Spirit has been trying to reveal to you, something hidden beneath silence, distance, and unanswered questions. Something your heart has sensed, yet your mind has struggled to understand. And before I speak it, I want you to breathe deeply, steady your emotions, and prepare your spirit. Because what you are about to hear will shift the way you see the situation. Forever. Do you know why your name rises in their thoughts the moment night falls? Do you know why every evening, when the world quiets down and distractions fade, they reach for their phone, hoping, waiting, wishing you will appear? There is an emotional truth behind their silence. There is a spiritual reason behind their inability to let you go. And heaven has permitted me to uncover it to you now. For their soul is restless. Their heart is conflicted. And though they pretend to have moved on, though they show the world a face of strength and detachment, their spirit calls out to you with an ache they cannot silence. Every night without fail. They scroll through old messages. They look at your picture. They rehearse conversations they wished they had. They think of what they should have said, what they could have done, and what they regret losing. And as they do, something stirs in them, an emotional pull they can't fully name. A longing that refuses to die. You may think you've been forgotten. You may think your absence means nothing. But heaven whispers. They feel your absence louder than your presence. And this is what they hide from others. This is what God sees when no one is looking. This is what the Spirit has been urging me to bring to you today. Their connection to you was not random. Their attachment to you was not accidental. The bond formed between you was not simply emotional or physical, there was spiritual alignment, divine timing, soul recognition. You awakened something in them they didn't know they had. You reflected their truth, their potential, their unhealed wounds, their unprocessed emotions. You saw into them in a way no one else ever had. And because of that, you became unforgettable. You see, beloved one, many people come into our lives to teach lessons. But some come to reveal destinies. Some enter not to take from us, but to activate what has been asleep. And that is why the connection between you and this person left such an imprint on their soul. They may deny it. They may run from it. But their spirit cannot escape it. This is the emotional truth God revealed. They check their phone for you every night because you were not just a name in their contacts. You became a piece of their inner world. They wonder if you're thinking of them. They wonder if you've moved on. They wonder if someone else is taking your attention, your laughter, your energy, your care. They feel the loss even if they don't admit it. And here is what you do not know: every time they feel the urge to reach out, fear stops them. Pride stops them. Uncertainty stops them. They replay old moments and think, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I ruin everything? What if they don't want me anymore? Their mind fights the very thing their heart wants. But heaven is pressing on them. Spirit is stirring them. God is confronting them. And soon, very soon, you will see movement. Because there is only so long a soul can deny truth before it breaks open. There is only so long a heart can suppress longing before it overflows. There is only so long a person can avoid destiny before God intervenes. And beloved, God is intervening. Your patience, your silence, your growth, these things have positioned you in a place of strength. You have evolved. You are no longer seeking validation. You are no longer chasing answers. And this energetic shift has awakened something in them. They can feel your transformation, even from a distance. They sense the elevation of your spirit. And this terrifies them. For now they fear losing you permanently. They fear you giving what they took for granted to someone else. They fear that by the time they gather the courage to speak, it may already be too late. Beloved, listen carefully. Their fear is the very thing that will push them into action. Their longing is the very force God is using to bring clarity. Their sleepless nights are not accidents, they are divine disruptions. And I will reveal why this divine disruption is happening. But that truth must come next. What heaven intends to reveal will expose the deeper spiritual reason behind their emotional restlessness, something even they do not fully understand. Beloved one, lean in again, for heaven is not finished revealing the truth. You have heard the emotional layer, the visible part, the surface movement. But now I take you deeper, into the spiritual mechanics that shape their longing. Into the unseen currents that pull their thoughts toward you night after night. Into the divine structure behind their restless heart. There is a reason their spirit cannot disconnect from you. I want you to understand something essential, something most people never recognize. Connections are formed on 3 levels: mind, heart, and spirit. The mind can forget, the heart can heal, but the spirit remembers what is divine. And the connection between you and this person did not begin in the mind or the heart, it began in the spirit. When 2 souls recognize each other, there is an energetic imprint. A spiritual signature. A vibration that cannot be duplicated. You awakened that in them. And now, even in silence, the imprint remains. This is why distance has not erased the connection. This is why time has not dissolved their feelings. This is why the lack of communication has not killed the spiritual bond. Your presence activated a divine remembering within them, something God placed in them long before either of you crossed paths. You stirred a dormant thread that has now begun to vibrate intensely. They feel it as longing. You sense it as intuition. Heaven sees it as alignment. And this, beloved one, is the deeper truth they don't know how to explain. Their soul misses you more than their mind can comprehend. They don't understand why your memory hits hardest at night. They don't understand why every distraction fades when the world gets quiet. They don't understand why they feel a pull toward you, even when they try to resist. But heaven understands. Spirit understands. God understands. Because the spiritual realm is not bound by human logic. Every night, their spirit reaches for you, even when their ego resists, even when their pride interferes. They pick up their phone instinctively, not by choice. The action is spiritual before it becomes physical. But let me reveal what has intensified this longing recently. Your energy has changed. You are no longer carrying the same wounds. You are no longer vibrating in need or attachment. You are no longer chasing emotional validation. You healed. You grew. You elevated. And this spiritual elevation has shifted the dynamic. For when you pulled your energy inward, when you reclaimed your power, when you stopped waiting for them, they felt it. Energetically, they felt the loss of your attention before you ever noticed the loss of theirs. Suddenly, you were no longer accessible. Suddenly, you were no longer energetically available for them to rely on. Suddenly, the silent comfort they took for granted disappeared. This is why anxiety rises in them at night. This is why your memory resurfaces with force. This is why they feel compelled to check their phone for you. Because deep down, their spirit fears something it cannot articulate. It fears you are slipping away. And whether they admit it or not, whether they show it or not, whether they understand it or not, God is using that fear to awaken them. The Spirit is pushing them to confront what they have avoided. To face the truth they tried to bury. To acknowledge the feelings they pretended not to have. You see, beloved, they were comfortable when they believed they could return to you at any moment. When they assumed your heart was forever open. When they felt certain you would always be there. But heaven has shifted the balance. God has turned the tables. Spirit has rearranged the dynamic. Now, they sense that the certainty they once relied on has evaporated. Now, they question whether they still hold a place in your life. Now, they wonder if someone else has entered the picture, someone wiser, someone kinder, someone stronger, someone who sees your worth the way they should have. This internal conflict is creating pressure. And pressure always creates change. Pressure breaks pride. Pressure dissolves ego. Pressure forces truth to the surface. And beloved one, this pressure is going to cause a breakthrough. Soon, their desire to hold back will collide with the fear of losing you. Soon, their silence will become too heavy to carry. Soon, their emotions will overflow in a way they can no longer contain. And when this moment comes, you will see communication, confession, clarity, something you have been waiting for, something you have sensed was coming, something heaven has been preparing behind the scenes. But this breakthrough has another layer. One they are wrestling with even tonight. One heaven wants you to understand before the next door opens. For there is something God is about to reveal that explains why their emotional truth has been hidden, why their words have been restrained, why their intentions have remained unclear, and this truth will shift everything you think you know about their silence. Beloved, the next revelation is deeper than longing. More powerful than missing you. More urgent than regret. Beloved one, listen with the ears of your spirit now, for what I am about to reveal goes beyond emotions and beyond longing. This revelation touches the very root of why they have remained silent, why they hesitate, why they watch you from afar instead of stepping forward. Heaven has shown me the truth, and now I bring it to you. They are not distant because they don't care. They are distant because they care more than they know how to handle. Their silence is not rejection. It is fear. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of exposure. Fear of losing control of their emotions. This person, strong on the outside, composed in the daylight, falls apart emotionally when night comes. That is when the facade fades, the ego collapses, and their true heart rises to the surface. This is when they feel the pull the strongest. This is when they rehearse the words they wish they could say to you. This is when their spirit whispers your name. And yet still, they hesitate. Why? Because loving you requires them to confront themselves. It requires them to look at their patterns, their wounds, their fears, their insecurities. It requires them to face the uncomfortable truth that you awaken parts of them they had kept buried for years, parts they were not prepared to deal with. Your presence brought light into places they kept hidden. Your love reflected their unhealed pieces. Your connection demanded authenticity. You see, beloved, not everyone is ready to be seen. Not everyone is ready to be loved deeply. Not everyone is prepared for the kind of energy you carry. And though their soul recognized you, their wounds resisted you. This inner conflict pulled them into a spiritual war. A war between desire and fear, longing and avoidance, destiny and hesitation. They want you, deeply. But they don't feel ready for the version of themselves they would need to become to deserve you. That is the real reason for their silence. Their pride is not the issue, it is their vulnerability. Their ego is not the issue, it is their fear of inadequacy. Their distance is not about you, it is about the parts of themselves they have never healed. And heaven has been dealing with them. The Spirit has been convicting them. God has been illuminating their shadows. At night, their mind becomes loud with truth. Their conscience becomes heavy. Their regrets rise to the surface. They think about how they handled things. They think about what they failed to say. They think about the times they pushed you away. And the more they think, the more the truth becomes undeniable. They were not ready for the depth of your heart. But beloved one, something is shifting. For God is not only exposing their wounds, He is transforming them. Step by step. Layer by layer. Truth by truth. They are beginning to see themselves clearly. They are beginning to recognize their patterns. They are beginning to understand what they lost. They are beginning to feel a conviction that will not let them rest until they make things right. This is why heaven showed me their sleeplessness. This is why heaven drew my attention to their nightly habit of checking their phone. Their spirit is crying out for healing, and God is answering. And here is a truth you may not have realized. Your absence is forcing their transformation. The space you created is where God is doing His work in them. Your silence is where heaven is convicting them. Your distance is where they are finally seeing the truth. You may think you did nothing. But beloved, your withdrawal was the catalyst for their awakening. And now heaven is preparing them for a new phase, one where they don't run, one where they don't hide, one where they don't pretend they don't feel what they feel. But before this phase begins, you must know something crucial. There is a spiritual interference that contributed to their confusion. A heaviness. A distraction. A pressure. A voice not from God. Something, someone, has been influencing their hesitation. Someone whose words planted doubt. Someone whose energy added fear. Someone who benefits from keeping them emotionally disconnected from you. And beloved, heaven intends to expose this influence. Because it is connected to the next stage of breakthrough. This interference has been weakening. This influence has been losing power. This block is dissolving. The spiritual tension around them is shifting rapidly. Heaven is reclaiming ground. God is removing obstacles. Truth is rising. And what comes next will reveal why their emotions became tangled, why their intentions became unclear, and why their heart kept circling back to you despite every distraction. Beloved, prepare yourself. What I reveal next will uncover the invisible force that has been affecting them, and why God is finally breaking its hold. Beloved one, steady yourself now, for what I am about to reveal requires spiritual discernment. Heaven showed me the interference around this person. Not to alarm you, but to empower you. Not to stir fear, but to give you clarity. For the enemy works best in confusion, silence, and emotional distortion, but God exposes what darkness hides. There is someone around them whose presence has influenced their decisions, their communication, and their emotional clarity. Someone who has spoken doubts into their mind. Someone who has fed their insecurities. Someone who benefits from keeping them confused, distant, and hesitant. This person may not appear harmful on the surface. They may act concerned, supportive, or protective. But spiritually, their energy does not align with truth. Heaven showed me this clearly. There has been a voice in their ear manipulating their perception. Not necessarily out of malice, sometimes out of jealousy, insecurity, or fear of losing their position in this person's life. Sometimes out of their own unresolved wounds. Sometimes out of the desire to maintain control. But regardless of their motive, the impact has been the same. They created fog where God intended clarity. They created fear where destiny required courage. They created confusion where love wanted to grow. The person you are connected to has been under emotional pressure, and this pressure did not come from within alone, it came from exterior influence. Someone planted seeds of doubt like, "Don't trust them. They don't really care. You'll look weak if you reach out. They've already moved on. You'll embarrass yourself." These words took root in their mind during vulnerable moments, moments when they needed encouragement, not discouragement, moments when their heart was open and their spirit was reaching for you, moments when they almost pressed send, almost spoke their truth, almost showed you their vulnerability. Beloved, they were closer than you think. There were nights they typed the message. There were nights they hovered over your name. There were nights they prayed for a sign. But that interfering voice, subtle, persistent, emotionally manipulative, pulled them backward. This is why I say, your connection was never broken. It was intercepted. Interrupted. Distracted. But hear me with spiritual ears now. God is removing that interference. The fog is lifting. The influence is weakening. The manipulation is unraveling. This person influencing them is losing their hold, because heaven is reclaiming the space around their emotions. God is separating this connection from voices that do not align with destiny. The person you are thinking of is beginning to see the truth, slowly, painfully, but clearly. Their awareness is awakening. Their discernment is sharpening. Their intuition is resurfacing. And beloved, this awakening is creating an internal storm inside them. They are realizing that the doubts they believed were not their own. They are recognizing that the fears they held were planted. They are starting to question the intentions of the one who influenced them. This realization hurts them. It confuses them. It shakes them. Because now they are faced with truth, and truth demands action. Heaven showed me a powerful vision. You're a person standing in the middle of two paths, one leading toward clarity, courage, and love, and the other leading toward fear, pride, and emotional stagnation. For a long time, the interfering voice pushed them toward the wrong path. But now God is calling them back to alignment. This is why they cannot sleep. This is why they check their phone at night. This is why their emotions feel overwhelming. Because the spiritual interference is weakening and their true feelings are rising with force. For the first time in a long time, they are seeing you clearly. Your intention. Your heart. Your sincerity. Your value. And heaven is stirring them with urgency. Not desperation, urgency. Their soul knows something their mind is just beginning to understand. If they do not move soon, they will lose the chance God gave them. This pressure is orchestrated by God, not to punish them, but to awaken them. Not to break them, but to bring them into emotional maturity. Not to overwhelm them, but to restore their alignment. And beloved one, this awakening is setting the stage for something major, something heaven has been preparing for both of you. Something that requires courage on their part, and readiness on yours. For what comes next is not simply communication. Not simply confession. Not simply emotional expression. What comes next is a turning point. The moment when their heart overpowers their fear. The moment when their spirit refuses silence. The moment when divine timing aligns with human courage. And that moment is closer than you realize. But before it arrives, heaven wants to prepare you, spiritually, emotionally, and energetically. So you are ready to receive what is coming without slipping back into old patterns. Beloved, the next revelation concerns you. Your role. Your purpose. Your preparation. Your next step. Beloved one, breathe deeply now, for this final revelation is about you. You have heard the emotional truth. You have understood the spiritual imprint. You have seen the interference that clouded their clarity. But now heaven speaks directly to your soul about what comes next, and why you were chosen to receive this message at this exact moment in time. You are not waiting by accident. You are not longing without purpose. You are not connected to them randomly. Heaven aligns paths with intention. God weaves relationships with precision. Spirit connects hearts with meaning. Your role in their life was never to chase them or fix them. Your role has always been to awaken them. And beloved, you did. Your presence awakened their spirit. Your absence awakened their growth. Your patience awakened their realization. You were the catalyst, without forcing anything, without manipulating anything, without demanding anything. Your authenticity alone created transformation. But here is the part heaven wants you to understand deeply. You have grown beyond the version of yourself that first connected with them. You are not who you were. You are wiser now. Stronger now. Clearer now. More aligned now. And heaven is preparing you for a new chapter, one where your needs are respected, your heart is valued, and your worth is recognized without delay. This next phase requires you to hold your power, not your fear. To hold your boundaries, not your desperation. To hold your identity, not the old story of rejection or pain. Because when this person comes forward, and they will, you must meet them from a place of strength, not uncertainty. From clarity, not anxiety. From inner wholeness, not emotional dependency. For heaven showed me this clearly. They are returning. Not as the old version of themselves, but as someone awakened, humbled, and emotionally ready. But their return is not the entire story. Your preparation is equally important. So what must you prepare for? You must prepare to receive truth, not half explanations, not confusion, not inconsistency. When they come forward, they will bring clarity they once lacked, honesty they once avoided, vulnerability they once feared, accountability they once resisted. You must prepare your heart to listen without losing yourself, to understand without absorbing their past pain, to forgive without abandoning your standards. And beloved, heaven asks you to reflect on this. What version of yourself do you want them to meet when they come back? Not the wounded you. Not the doubting you. Not the overgiving you. But the elevated you. The empowered you. The divinely aligned you. For you are stepping into a season of emotional authority. You are being lifted into spiritual maturity. You are being positioned to receive, not chase, not convince, not carry the weight of their uncertainty. This is why God had you step back. Why heaven gave you silence. Why the connection paused. Because you needed space to rise into this new version of yourself, one who does not settle for crumbs, confusion, or emotional delay. And when they come forward, it will not be to drain you, but to rebuild something with you. Not from their old wounds. Not from their old fear. but from genuine desire and spiritual clarity. Heaven showed me a powerful image. Two souls meeting again. Not as broken pieces trying to fit, but as healed reflections recognizing each other with new eyes. And beloved, this reunion, whether romantic or spiritual, carries purpose. Purpose for healing. Purpose for growth. Purpose for alignment. Because you were never meant to walk away forever. You were meant to meet again when both hearts were ready. Their readiness is forming. Your readiness is strengthening. Divine timing is aligning. But before heaven brings this full circle, one more truth must settle in your spirit. You cannot shrink yourself when they return. Do not dim your light to make them comfortable. Do not silence your needs to avoid conflict. Do not pretend to be less so they feel enough. You were chosen as the emotional mirror in their life. Not to minimize yourself, but to reflect what love can look like when it is healthy, strong, and divinely aligned. Beloved, hold your strength. Hold your wisdom. Hold your boundaries. Hold your worth. For heaven's message ends with this. They check their phone every night because their soul is drawn to yours. But soon, they will stop checking and start acting. Soon, they will stop hesitating and start speaking. Soon, they will stop fearing and start moving. And when they do, the moment will feel undeniable. Because heaven is aligning it. God is authorizing it. And your spirit will recognize it instantly. Prepare your heart. Prepare your energy. Prepare your spirit. For what is coming next will change everything.